Well, I know right now we're on live, and I'm not expecting everybody, to jump on here, but they're probably gonna watch it like way later in the day and stuff like that. But I guess it's just something I just want to get out there that I read in the comments of certain videos about Slander, Khris Middleton. So let's just get started to talk about that. But before we do, let's thanks our sponsors, Moving Dudes. You need some stuff moved and you're in the southeast Wisconsin area, check them out. It's 414-807-4299. Again, it's 414-807-4299. You get a hold of Sean. Also, Art from the Heart. If you're looking for some like artwork of like animation, Mike would be your guy. Get look for Art from the Heart on Facebook. Now let's get into this Khris Middleton thing. Um, yeah, they did. The Bucks did lose because of Khris Middleton, but I think this is like his like in the early years he hasn't been like seriously hurt and stuff except for maybe the past 5 years. I think he suffered like two major injuries, including like the one with his leg. I know it was something with his leg that kept him off half the season. I think it was like the 17-18 season. Then, Jabari Parker went out. We're not talking about Khris Middleton as like a Parker injury prone type of deal. But like injuries that, that really, that matter the most, when the team needed you the most. So he did had a couple of those injuries, like Giannis had injuries too, but they were like minor or except for the one last year, and you thought that he was gonna be like out for the rest of that series for that, for that NBA Finals series. Everybody thought he was gonna be out or didn't know it was gonna be like weeks or whatever, but it took him like nearly a week for him like to come back and play game one there. He played like a monster. Like Khris Middleton, especially that injury he had during the Bull series. I know injuries you can't help, but he gets hurt. I know all players get hurt, and you just know that some of them will be out for like maybe like days, weeks, or something like that. And there's some of them that probably be months or even like a year. Like that, I can understand, but for what you expect for a caliber player, like supposed to be a caliber player like Khris Middleton, when you're like that good of a shooter and supposed to be one of the best, well, actually the best shooter on the Bucks team, your scoring average should be going up. I mean, like there was that one time, of course, like either before Giannis, finally got his stride and finally his scoring had increased. Khris like was stuck into like the 15, 16 points a game mark, and at one point was leading the team in scoring. Now I told somebody this before that Giannis is going to be the best player on that team, while Khris Middleton will be the best shooter on that team. And I still stand by that, and there's been facts that just like prove it. It's like the best scoring should be catching up with the best player, like in scoring average. You see, like Khris Middleton, like average in the season and stuff like that, like 19 or 20 points per game. But I do give him this that he has been a three-time All Star, which is good. But his scoring average should increase. Like it should be up there like 23, 24, 25, 26 points a game. Should be at that level, not like 19 or 20 points per game. And that's why I say like at times like he has an on off switch. One game he does good, like he'll be like 6 for 12 for three, and have at least like an average field goal shooting percentage and shooting. While like the next day he would be like 1 for 9 and like 4 for 16 a shooting. And I know some people is thinking like he doesn't get enough shots. Yes, he does. He has to attempt to take like more attempts. Because there are times that he take more attempts than Giannis himself, and don't make that many. Like I know this is like a Khris Middleton rant, and like I'm bad mouth him and stuff, but I'm saying though that he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. He is a very good player, but he's not all that reliable to be like a second option. I know he proved that last season was during the playoffs, but there was like not that many games that he had like 25 points or more per game in the playoffs. He might have like maybe 6 through 8 out of maybe like about 20, 21 games or something like that in the playoffs. It's like he's 30, about to be 31 this year. You should be expecting more from him than anything. Like his defense is good. Don't get me wrong. Like his defense is good. So ain't nothing wrong with his defense. Like I said, his offense is like an on the off switch. I'm saying when you hit your prime, you should be scoring like more than 20 points per game. At least like 24, 25, 26, 27 points per game. You should be at your prime because he is at his prime now. And only making like that much per game. And you see, like Giannis, like he keeps increasing. And like this season, about nearly 30 points per game that Giannis has scored. And he's not like a very good 3 point shooter, but he attempts like a few 3 pointers per game. That's it, and he's working on it. But what I'm saying that Khris Middleton needs to work on more of his shooting and scoring, especially because I know certain people miss like close up shots and stuff like that. So if you're like if you're like almost like a scorer, most of those shots you shouldn't be missing. Like my point is that as we saw in the playoffs, that Khris Middleton is a good number two, but he's not the best number two for Giannis. And all this time until this playoffs, I was expecting that Drew Holiday would be a better number two than Khris Middleton. But as y'all kind of saw in the playoffs, it's like Drew Holiday trying to score, but isn't some of the shots is not he's not making them. And that's kind of say what I feel with Chris Middleton for like the Bucks to really, forge in the future and stuff like that. Either Chris Middleton needs to work on his shooting and get better, or he might even be gone. It's like the same thing like with Michael Red. He was the best shooter on the team and the best scorer on the team during the early years of the 2000s for the Bucks after they trade Ray Allen and Sam Cassell was going and stuff like that. But he, I think it was average in the season for Michael Ray. He had like about I think like nearly 25 points a game. That's something you expect from your best shooter and best scorer in the NBA. But I'm trying to make this point that Khris Middleton needs to improve in his shooting because he's not getting any younger. Because if you keep on going to the same play, just like have one game, he only scored like 10 points with like 4 or 16 of shooting, 1 of 9 from three, and then the next game you have like 29 with 6 of 12 shooting, but 2 of 4 from 3 point. And like I said again, he's not a he's not a horrible player. That's not what I'm saying. But some of the slandering of Khris Middleton is needed. He can be at the beginning of the season. He's a good shot creator, but his shooting is just on and off. Like in, sorry if I'm checking the laptop, but he has an on and off switch. Which I was saying something about Brandon Jennings in the years that Brandon Jennings has like an on and off switch. He's supposed to be, I don't know, maybe number two, number one guy during that era, with Bogan and stuff, and that 2010, 2011 season, was supposed to be in that year, like his or was it 2009, 2010? It was one of those. It was one of those years. But my point is, you can't be stuck like being the number two guy and not scoring at least like 25 points per game. Just my thing is, Khris Middleton, he has to do better. Now, if he, if they decided, oh, they're going to trade him this off season, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it that Khris Middleton gets traded for like a better number two option. Or I'm not going to lose any sleep either if Middleton doesn't get traded and stays with the team the rest of his career. But I'm sorry, but he is a little bit overpaid. Like he should be getting like not close to like 40 mil, like in the late 30 million or something like that. In the late 30 millions, that's what I'm trying to say. He should not be getting that much and playing like he's a number three option. That's something's wrong right there. We know there's a few issues with the Bucks that they had to resolve in the off season. We know that one of them is like Khris Middleton has to get better. Like I said, if he gets traded or not, or if he don't step as a player option next season and they decided, we're just going to let him go, Khris Middleton got to do better. And plus, this coming season is the most important season of his life. He really got to get up to like 24 or 25 points per game. At least be at least 80% on a good shooting slump. Not slump, but like on a good shooting streak. He should be. But that's just my point. Like Khris Middleton needs to do better. Like I can understand why some people will say like there's nothing wrong with him. Like he's doing fine. It's like he helped the team with the in the playoffs last season. But like how many games has he scored 25 or more? It wasn't that many. I think his average was like 21 in the playoffs, 21 points per game in the playoffs. But yeah, I give it to him that, of course, those last two games that they play against Atlanta in the Eastern Conference Finals, that he stepped up, which is good and all. But what if Giannis didn't come back? What if Giannis was out for the rest of the NBA Finals last year and we had to rely on Middleton to be the number one guy? I don't rely on him to being like the number one guy when Giannis is out. But if he improves more of his shooting and get that shooting stroke going, like something that that he can't miss. Like, I'm not expecting him to make every single shot, but like if you at least make like majority of your shots, then good. But not being like in a 50% in the field or like either 49 or 48%. But my point is Chris got to do better. But I know some people said that's not no excuse because he was injured. But not saying that he's like I'm saying that he's very close to like being like injury prone and plus like his age, it's gonna it started catching up to people. Some people is lucky that it doesn't catch up to them until like maybe like the last moments of their career. But it's like I'm saying, Chris ain't getting younger. He really has to improve real fast, especially do some work in the off season with his shooting. Like play up a bunch of pickup games in the summer. Like don't take that much of a vacation. Work on your shooting. That's all I'm saying. He needs to work on more of his shooting. If he end up getting like up to 24, 23, 24, 25 points or more like that a game, then yeah, he'll prove me wrong. And just like I'm saying that he needs to work on his shooting. Like maybe a little bit of a scoring because there were certain layups that that he had that he shouldn't have missed. But it does happen. But you may think this is a Khris Middleton slander, but we're just pointing out facts that he has to do better. Especially, because I know they do need some work in the off season. Like that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about Khris Middleton. So my advice to him is work on your shooting the off season. Play some pickup games and work on your shooting. I don't know. Talk to your shooting coach and see what you need working on with shooting. Because the second best player on the team should not be scoring no 20 points per game at that age. You should be up there. But that's just my thing. But y'all can comment below. I will read the comments and reply to them. But Khris Middleton got to do better, or the bus gonna say like, you're getting older, you're not productive, you're out of there. That just me, my opinion, and just stating like the facts that's out there. But that's just me. Like I said, if it's supposed to be in a rant, it wasn't supposed to be. It was just like pointing out the facts. But like I said, I apologize if it ended up being a rant, but it's supposed to be pointing out the facts, and that's what I go by, facts. Um, Thanks to our sponsors again, Moving Dudes and Art from the Heart. Check out Art from the Heart on Facebook and call 414-807-4299 for moving dudes. If you're in the Southeast Wisconsin area, you need some stuff moved, they'll be the ones to help you. Um, I'm gonna release one more video after this one, and I will explain something about a wrestling matter. So I will get into that. So just either you're on watching live, just stay tuned. If not, you're probably watching like hours later or whenever the case you're watching it. Just watch out for that other video. Until then, until the next video. Y'all have a good one.